What we're seeing here in Armidale today with the Prime Minister and myself launching the network, turning it on live, is enormous excitement here in the Armidale community. We've got a 88% sign-up, take-up rate for the National Broadband Network. The people here in Armidale aren't interested in Tony Abbott's negativism. They're not interested in his plan to demolish the National Broadband Network. What they're crying out for is access to world-class services in education, in health, to ensure that they're not left behind and ensure that Australia is not left behind in the new digital age which is already dawning.
It's not Tony Abbott, though, Minister, who has Michael Quigley, the chief of the Broadband Network, before the Senate committee having to actually acknowledge that he was less than truthful about disclosures about his previous employer.
Look, that's a gross exaggeration. What Mike did was he was informed by Alcatel of some information. He stated that publicly. That turned out to be incorrect. When Alcatel advised him that it was incorrect, that the original information that they gave him was incorrect, he went public immediately and apologised. But Mike Quigley was in no way responsible for the activities of rogue employees inside Alcatel. He was in no way responsible and was not even interviewed by the SEC. So Mike Quigley has no case to answer here. There were rogue employees, some of whom are currently in jail. And Mike Quigley is no more responsible for the activities of rogue employees than John Hartigan was responsible for the activities of people at the Melbourne
Absolutely,
school.
Minister. There's no question that there was no doubt that he was not involved in those rogue activities. But he at the time said that he wasn't responsible for the Costa Rica operations, which in fact he was responsible for. Surely he should have known a fact as simple as that.
Well, he was advised by Alcatel when he contacted them, when this first started to become a public issue. He contacted Alcatel. He asked whether or not Costa Rica was part of the remit. There are many, many countries that were underneath his remit. They advised him it wasn't. Subsequently, he contacted them again because this was still an ongoing issue, and they advised him that they had given him the incorrect information. He's apologised, and it's time to move on and continue to roll out the network, continue to negotiate the rollout of this network and deliver fast and affordable broadband services to all Australians, and particularly regional and rural Australians who have been left behind by the Howard Abbott government.
You are comfortable and have complete faith in his leadership?
Absolutely. Mike Quigley was not even interviewed. Never even interviewed. Never mind an implication. This is just a smear job. This is just a smear job by the opposition, who have no constructive broadband plan, no constructive policies to deliver health and education services in the modern world to country and regional Australia, towns like Armidale here that are now going to be able to access health services, education services, equivalent to the best in the world.
You are, though, continuing to battle, and as you're saying, there is a Tony Abbott campaign. Malcolm Turnbull, too, is putting the government under enormous pressure. And you are having to fight, as you suggest, those daily headlines of negativity, that there are going to be cost overruns, that it's the wrong technology, that already we had a story yesterday, a private operator saying it's going to cost twice the cost that it would have if you had gone a different route. Is this a real battle for you to get your message across?
Look, this is a significant structural change in the economy. It's an enormous boost for the economy. The microeconomic reforms that are involved in the NBN and related legislative changes are an enormous change, an enormous challenge to implement. But the Gillard government is about reforming Australia, making tough decisions, about making the decisions that this country needs so that we can prosper in the 21st century. The whole world is going digital. The world acknowledges, and if you look at our region, countries like Japan, South Korea, Singapore, they're not arguing about whether or not wireless is better than fibre. They're just laying fibre. They are absolutely committed to delivering to their countries. And if we sit on our hands, take the Tony Abbott, Malcolm Turnbull, oh no, it's all okay, we just got to patch things up. If we take that approach, we'll fall further and further behind the rest of the world. Our kids won't get the best education opportunities. Our health care system will be inferior to systems systems around the world. And the Gillard government says that's not good enough.
And no one, I think, is disputing that fact, that of course we need an upgrade, and everyone is desperately waiting for that upgrade. We've been lagging behind. But for you, as the minister responsible, with these constant little spot fires breaking out, how do you manage that on a day-to-day basis? What do you pay attention to? Because there must be issues that you need to pay attention to make sure that you deliver this on time and as close to budget as possible.
Well, I'm in constant contact with the NBN Co, getting advice from them on where we're about to roll out next, where we're about to turn on next, where we're about to start installing and finishing the contract for the next wireless system that we're going to be providing. The interim satellite solutions was announced just recently, when the services from NBN for an interim satellite solution will be available from the 1st of July. So I have to keep up with the many, many activities of the NBN. But I'm not going to be distracted by Malcolm Turnbull and Tony Abbott's just sheer opposition for opposition's sake. Tony Abbott gave Malcolm Turnbull one job: demolish the NBN. Malcolm's an effective and articulate politician, and he is setting about to try and demolish the NBN. But we won't be distracted from delivering world-class education services, world-class health services to people in Australia, particularly people like here in Armidale, in regional and rural Australia, who have been missing out. What we're able to deliver now is equivalent levels of services that people in metropolitan Australia have benefited from. Well, now it's time to make sure that people who live in towns like Armidale also get access to those same services. All right, give us the rollout. We're flicking the switch today in Armidale. What next? How does that rollout continue? Well, the first construction site here is almost completed. We go live in a couple of months' time. We've got 13 companies registered to start approaching people, to start getting them on board, becoming customers. So we're going to see more competition, we're going to see faster speeds, and we're going to see cheaper prices. That's what the National Broadband Network is going to deliver here in Armidale over the next few months, and that's what it's going to start delivering all across Australia as we roll out the National Broadband Network. Stephen Conroy, thank you so much for your time this morning. Good to be with you, Beverly.